Hi, welcome back. In this series of videos, I'm showing you how to set up a Centrify MFA for Amazon Workspaces on login or screen unlock, right? And in the previous videos, we verified the prerequisites. We launched a directory. In the previous video, also, I registered the directory. Is now registered completely. And we modified the security groups to allow communication between the security group that is going to hold the Centrify connector and both our directory controllers and our workspaces. So now we're ready to launch the Windows instance that is going to host the connector. But we need to keep in mind of two pieces of information, right? So we created this simple AD directory, and we created a password for the default administrator. At the same time, this is going to be the IP addresses for the DNS and Active Directory for that instance. So when we launch our instance, we're going to go to instances, we're going to launch an instance, and this is going to be, in this case, I'm just going to pick Windows Server R2, right? And let me go ahead and just do select. I'm going to pick something with the minimum requirements to hold Centrify connector. I'm going to configure the instance details. So notice that we're using, the VPC that we're using is the same one. We're going to enable connectivity from the outside. And we're going to add some storage here. Perhaps we're going to bump this up to 60. And we're going to add some tags, and let's just configure the security setup. So here we're going to pick the security group that we picked for allow the communication, and notice that it has communication between the domain controllers, the workspaces, right, and within itself, right? So this is just to simplify things. Again, I repeat, typically when you're doing this in production, you use the minimum set of ports. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and review and launch. This is a brand new AWS installation, so this is going to require for me to create a set of keys. So we're gonna create a new key pair, and this is going to be right. So, and we're going to download that key pair, and that's going to be there, right? This is needless to say, this is going to disappear once I do this demo, but we're going to go ahead and launch the instances, and we're going to pause, and then when the instance is complete, we're going to go back to do the configuration. So we're going to do this. One of the things that you need to take into consideration is how are you going to deal with DNS, right? So in order for the member server to be able to talk to Active Directory, it needs to have the IP addresses of the domain controllers in the DNS option. So you have several things that you could do. You could do an option set, which implies in this case that you could just copy the directory name as the DNS here, and you can provide information like the domain controllers that you have here for the DNS, right? So you could also set them as the NTP servers, NetBIOS names and things like that. This is up to you. You could actually, when the machine is launched, you could override that at the interface level. So in my case, I'm creating options, but your preference depends on the way you're running your lab.